What's going on, guys? Savage Your Reptiles here. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and share. Yesterday I made a short pertaining to the term beginner reptile. So like I mentioned in that short, that could mean two different things for so many people. For some, it could mean that your beginner snake should be something that is considered generic. It's very common for beginners to get those reptiles because the care for them could be a lot easier than something that you're going for, which is your dream animal. For others, your beginner reptile could be your dream animal, and you're willing to do the research needed, and if possible, get hands-on with that animal before you begin keeping. And for me, I would lean towards that second option. I find it to be an issue when new keepers come in and they are shot down by so many people because their beginner animal doesn't line up with the majority's expectations. So someone that I'm talking to right now, actually one of my very good buddies, his dream animal is a gaboon viper, just like Kane here. And he asked me, he was like, do you think a gaboon viper could be a good beginner reptile for someone with no reptile keeping experience? Now my response might shock a lot of you, but hear me out. So my response to him was, absolutely not. These snakes do not make good beginner reptiles at all. Whether you're new to keeping non-venomous or whether you've been keeping non-venomous and you're new to keeping venomous, these do not make good beginner reptiles. But there's always a but. But if you're willing to do the research dedicated to provide this animal with the proper home, the proper care, you're willing to take the safety precautions needed, which also requires a ton of research because there's so much that goes on with gaboons that you don't want happening to you. So you need to take those preventative measures with this species. If you're willing to reach out to people that keep these guys, which is good for him because I keep them, so he's kind of got direct access to someone that knows a lot about this species. If you're willing to reach out to someone that knows a lot about them and gain as much knowledge as you can before just reaching out to someone saying, hey, I want a gaboon viper, I see no problem with it at all. And there is another video on YouTube, and I sent this to one of my good friends last night, and she had no problem with it as well. I'll try to link it in the description if I can. There's a man that has a friend, and he was in the military, and he had zero reptile keeping experience. But he had been stranded for 3 years over in Africa. So in my imagination, I assume 3 years stranded in Africa in the military doesn't mean that you're inside of a hotel or something with building facility. Maybe you were, I'm assuming he was outside for 3 years in Africa. But once he got back, he decided that he wanted to keep reptiles, or a reptile, one reptile. And his reptile that he did get was indeed a gaboon viper. People told him ball pythons, corn snakes, bearded dragons, and he was just like, why? I'm asking for a specific snake that I want, and you're giving me all these other options where they don't pique my interest at all. I'm not interested in these animals at all, yet you keep suggesting these animals to me, which is something that I see very common. Like I said, people have these dream animals that they want to get into, and they're shot down by so many people. And the biggest issue that I see with this is if they do go ahead and make their purchase for those beginner animals that were suggested by other people that they're not interested in at all, eventually they will have to find homes for these animals. A lot of people keep these beginner reptiles, but a lot of them lose interest in them very fast and start looking for homes. And a lot of times the homes that they find are not the best options. So while they may have done good in your care, if you're looking for a home, the person that gets them after you may not do so well with caring for them. It could be a matter of life or death. So, in my opinion, that should just be avoided. And like I said, if you're willing to do the research, get hands on if you can, and just gain as much knowledge as possible before getting the species that you want, which is key. Get whatever that get it. If you want it, get it. Like that's just how I am. I don't see the need to start here, then work here, then get all the way up here with animals, with a list of animals that you have no interest in. It's a waste of your time, and it's kind of a waste of space for the animal. So again, if it's something that you want, get it. There was a gentleman on the last video, I forgot his name, but he was like, if your gaboon or whatever tried to strike at you, he could. Absolutely, yes, he can. But I'm sitting like a lot further back than what it looks like. But I have actually been handling this guy. I haven't done it on camera yet, and I might go ahead and try it here on camera to show you guys. But I have been handling this guy. But that just goes to show that a lot of people have opinions, and everything is opinionated. Everybody's gonna have something to say, whether you like it or not, and whether they like what they're saying or not. Someone's gonna have something to say. So, like I said, if you want it and you're willing to put in the time and the effort to gain as much knowledge as possible, provide the proper enclosures if it's something that deserves an enclosure or does better in an enclosure setup, by all means, go for it. I don't see an issue with it. But yes, Kane here could definitely get me. But I have a Gaboon Viper. I am fully aware of what he's capable of, which is, an advantage for me. There's no way I would have reached out to the breeder and was like, hey, let me purchase a Gaboon Viper from you. And I had no clue what I was doing. This goes hand in hand with what I was saying about if it's what you want, put in the time and effort to research it, which is exactly what I did. I put in the time and effort to research this animal before I reached out to the breeder to purchase. Not even to mention that I have hands-on experience with monocle cobras and Enceladus vipers. I just never had hands-on experience with the Gaboon. So for the crybabies, yes, I am fully aware of what he could do. But I have hands-on experience with venomous, and that's just what it is. Like now I have hands-on experience with monocle cobras, Enceladus vipers, and Gaboon vipers. So if I decided one day, hey, I want a black mamba, somebody's gonna cry about it, and I'm like, oh, you don't have any experience with that animal. No shit, but I have experience with venomous animals. But Kane here, a lot of people don't know that Gaboon vipers are one of the more docile species of venomous snakes, and he's absolutely been more chill for me than I could have asked for. A lot of Gaboons have some pretty sporadic temperaments, like you really don't know what you're getting with them. A lot of them could be more chaotic, and then a lot of them, the majority wise, could be more laid back. But Kane here, he's definitely been on the more laid back side. And then like you guys see here, like he's literally inchworming his way towards me. But I'm not worried about that at all. What's up, dude? So again, if you've never kept snakes at all, you really wouldn't know how to read a tongue flick. But he's not giving me those short and fast tongue flicks. His tongue flicks that he's giving me are like really long and consistent, which means he is content. He doesn't mind being in my space right now, which even though I've had him for about a total to 10 to 11 days, I've had him in my presence like this for about 4 times so far. And this is when you're keeping such an animal that has the capability to wipe you out if it wanted to, this is what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to get hands-on with that animal. You're going to have to get in its space. You're going to have to allow it in your space. I can't imagine having a gaboon viper and never interacting with it, and then one day being in a position to where you have to and you can't even get near the animal. I couldn't imagine it. Then you'd be in a predicament to where you're like, okay, I'm really screwed. But this to me, this is what it's all about. I don't consider myself, um, I'm not an expert on anything. At the end of the day, we're all learning about something. So if you ask me, we all know nothing, if that makes sense. I'm not an expert. I don't consider myself a hobbyist because I'm not just collecting reptiles for my personal entertainment. This is strictly my pet. If I do decide to breed my blood pythons or even buy a female for him one day, I'm pretty much 100% sure that I won't sell anything. Like anything that I breed won't be available. So if I do want to give my hand at breeding, it definitely won't be at a large scale, because at that point it's just like you're either doing it for a living or it does become a hobby. You just continue to breed and breed and breed, and then you sell the animals that you produce. I want to breed at a very, very, very small scale, to where the animals that I produce, I'm prepared to keep all of them for the duration of their entire life. And a lot of breeders lose that focus these days. I will go ahead and give you guys a demonstration. I just want him to know that my hand is here. So what I'll do is I'll touch him back here. See, he does that, but I didn't like right away go for no, there we go. There we go. Yeah. So each time that I do get hands-on with him, he does puff up a bit. I'm not sure if you guys noticed in some of my blood pythons, but they do the exact same thing. When I let them know that I'm there, I touch them somewhere. They're gonna do this huffing thing no matter what. But you see, I just jump because I have my eyes on him, so I need to be very aware and cautious of what I'm doing. But my blood pythons do the same thing. Whenever I touch them, just to let them know I'm there, they do jump and huff up a bit. But after they notice that I'm not there to hurt them, everything is fine. So I think one of the cats are trying to get out. All right, scoot up a bit, bud. Let's see. Just want you guys to see how docile this animal is. And he 100% could reach around and tag me if he wanted to. But whenever you're keeping any species of reptile, whether it's a snake, a lizard, or whatever, it's all about respect with these animals. So if I was in a way disrespecting this animal, he definitely could reach around and grab me, no problem. But like I said, it's the time, effort, and consistency. This is our 4th time doing this. And the first time that we did it, he did that huffing thing for about 10 minutes straight. As you guys saw, he only did it twice. He only did it twice. So, but to prevent him, like he's facing this way now, to prevent him from coming around striking at me, from this angle, I'll go ahead and stick that hook here. But he's perfectly fine. But again, this just goes to show that if it is a reptile that you want, get it. Don't let anyone deter you from your dream animal. As long as you're putting in the time and effort and consistency to get said animal, I don't see an issue with it at all. But I hope this video helped you guys out. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, guys, take care of your reptiles.